everybody. Welcome to Whole Family Homestead. My name is Kellen. I wanted to share with you all a bit of a canning fail I had yesterday and today. I'm an experienced canner, but I thought it would be really good to just share with you all that even experienced people kind of make mistakes, or things don't go right, or whatever. You know, things do not always go as planned, especially, you know, here on the homestead with so many variables. So what happened is we went to the strawberry field on Wednesday, went picking, got all the great berries, got about 30 pounds. I spent the rest of the day washing them, cutting them, and getting them macerating, which is what I like to do the day before I make jam. So I'll macerate the fruit, which is just cutting it up and tossing it with like sugar, and then I'll even put like vanilla bean or rose water into the sugar, let them sit overnight in the fridge. So that helps them release juices. It can help with like foaming issues with jam. You know, fruit that's macerated overnight releases less foam. And I just think it imparts a really good flavor to the berries. So that's why, mostly why I do it. I did that, took me like all day, got that done. And then yesterday was my big, like, I'm gonna do all this jam making. And I got 4 batches made, which is about 40 jars of strawberry vanilla jam. But the big issue was, for the life of me, when I went to start making the jam, I could not find my candy thermometer, which, I don't know, I've had it for like 15 years. I don't know where it went. This was a mystery to me. And all I had was like the little thermometer I use for bread, which doesn't really go all the way up to 220. 220 is the temperature you want jam to get at. That's when you know the pectin is really gonna gel and everything is really happy. And so I was like, okay, well, you know, I know what this looks like. I've done this for 10 years, made all kinds of jam. I know what it needs to look like. And there is a trick you can do. You can freeze like a small plate, put that in the freezer, and then use a spoon and spoon your jam onto that plate. And if it develops kind of a skin on top and, you know, hardens and you can't, you know, push your spoon straight through it, then you know it's done. So I did do that, and it looked pretty set to me. And I will admit that I don't like super firm jam. I think in my early years of jam making, I would always err on the side of really firm, because you don't want it to be super loose. You know, that's unsuccessful jam, and it's just not as yummy. It doesn't have a good texture. It doesn't spread easily. And honestly, the longer you cook jam, you're cooking that fruit flavor, that fresh fruit flavor out. So it's really beneficial to get jam to set as quick as possible. So I took it all off, canned it, did my thing. As an insurance checker, I took one of my jars and put it in the fridge, because that would really help it cool down and let me check the set in the morning. So that's what I did. Is this morning I woke up, got my toast, checked the jar in the fridge, and it was not super set. It's delicious. It has a really fruit forward flavor. It's exactly what I want it to taste like, but it is too liquidy. So the remedy for that is to rebatch it. So I have here, I'll show you one of my jars here. Yeah, so this is what one of my jars looks like. It has beautiful color. You can tell, I mean, it just looks great, but ooh, right, you know, that's not what we want. So what I do is I just empty this out straight into my jam making pot, which I'll show you here next. It's being washed right now. And then I will go ahead and add to that pot a little more lemon juice, because that helps brighten and bring up the fruit flavors. And then half a cup of sugar and 2 tablespoons more of pectin. And then I got at the store this really great new instant read digital thermometer. I decided after 15 years of my old, like, you know, not digital candy thermometer, I deserved a nice thermometer. So this has been really helping me. I'm 2 batches in, and it's just going lickety split, because as soon as this, you know, goes in the jam and I see it reads 220, I know it's ready. So it's taking me, I don't know, another 2 or 3 minutes of boiling once I get the pectin and everything and bring it up to temperature. So that's not too severe. I tasted it, it's still nice and fruit flavor. It's hard to tell while it's still warm. Warm jam, I think, imparts a different flavor than cold jam. So we'll see when it cools down. But I'm really hopeful that I can save all of these. And what I did do, actually, is I took, I don't know, 8 or so jars and just saved those back as like strawberry topping for ice cream and cheesecake and pancake syrup, because they taste lovely. They're not set enough for people to be able to like integrate it into a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, for example. It would be very messy. So if you guys ever have this kind of, jam not setting canning fail, rest assured, we all have been there. It doesn't matter how experienced we are, just for whatever reasons, whether it's you lost your thermometer or your fruit has a weird sort of chemical component that's different than last year, or whatever, like, it happens to the best of us, and there are ways to fix it, and there are ways to use the product still, even if it's not exactly what you had in mind. So what I'm doing right now is I'm rebatching the jam, which basically just means I, take everything out of the jar and then rewash the jar, re-sterilize the jar, and then I come and I put it back in the pot, and this just started boiling. So then I'll just skim the foam off again. As you can see, there's more foam collecting. That's just air in the jam. And not only does it affect the color of your jam, but it can make it less safe. You don't want a bunch of air in your supposedly like sealed airtight jars. So we'll skim that off, and then these will each go in the water bath canner for 10 more minutes. And these here on the end, I just pulled back out. Oops, see, yeah, that one's, the tabs pop as they cool. Let's take the temperature because it's looking really close. I'm gonna turn it on. Yep, okay. I think we're pretty much there by the time I turn this off. Okay, so all I'm gonna do, you can see that this foam has collected on the top, and it's yummy to eat. It's yummy to like stir into cream cheese. You can just spread it straight on toast, but it's not good to put in the canning jar. So I just, they make like tools. I have a serving spoon, and I just kind of gently go around the surface and scoop it up like that, and then I save it. And again, this just affects the clarity level of your jam. So you want it to look nice and pretty in the jar, but too much foam, like this is fine, I'm being really picky. Too much foam can really create too much air in your jars, which you don't want. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and ladle the hot jam into my jars, just like that. There we go. And I'm gonna move this. Maybe the camera, yep, you can still see that. Keep ladling. What I'll do is I'll fill all of these. This will probably get me about like 7 or 8 half-pint jars. I started with about 10 cups of fresh strawberries that I then macerated down with 2 cups of sugar and a split vanilla bean overnight. And then by the time, obviously I put it into the pot, those 10 cups have liquefied a lot. So you get a lot of liquid with this recipe. What's nice is because they set overnight, you get less foam, which is good. I just set the timer for 10 minutes, and then they're safely sealed, and ready for storage. These will last a year or two. We usually eat them within a year though.